Hello, Internet. Greetings. I know I was supposed to do this yesterday, but the day got a little bit hectic. So we're doing it today. So happy October. I can't believe we're already in October. Like, where did the year go? Like, I feel like it was Chinese New Year like 5 minutes ago. Obviously, it was not Chinese New Year 5 minutes ago, but that, for whatever reason, is how it feels to me right now. Like, how did 2025 move so quickly? This is kind of my big question to myself. Like, honestly, I feel like the year was, I don't know, I can't believe it. Like, we're almost in Scorpio season, we're in Libra season right now. I'm really curious how eclipse season landed for everybody. For myself, it was a little emotional, a little gnarly. Some big changes that I'm still kind of sitting with. So it's been an interesting time. Hopefully it's been a little bit better for most of y'all. I just re-listened to my tarot for September yesterday, kind of preparing for this and just reflecting on the previous month. And I would really recommend everyone else also do that, just to kind of see, like, how did September hit for you? Like, now that it's actually over. Like, I think watching these tarot for the month ahead kind of vibes can be really grounding, both at the beginning and end of the month. Like, at the beginning to kind of see, okay, what to expect, how do I work with these energies, and at the end of the month to be like, okay, that's how that transpired and that's how that went, and here's what we do with it next, and here's what we learned from it. I think that can be really, really useful. All right, so I'm really curious what the energy for October is going to be. I don't think I'm going to have the October that I expected to have. Some plans that I had have been snatched out from under me, so that feels interesting. I'm just curious how this energy is going to hit for everyone else. Up here in Canada, we have Canadian Thanksgiving in October. And of course, for everybody, we've got Halloween or Samhain, otherwise known as the Witch's New Year for some folks. I know not everyone really sees it that way. But let's just see what we have for this month ahead. What do we need to know about October? I'm going to pull some cards for that. All right, what do we need to know about October? Interesting. What is a card for all of us to understand the energy of October? Okay. What are the lessons of October? And a few more cards for what can we take from September that just kind of ended. And whoever's here live, feel free to say hello in the chat if you like. All right. Okay. So I'm actually going to start with the kind of lessons that we're taking from September. And interestingly, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? And we've got some Pentacles cards. So this is our lessons from September. So let's kind of get into that one by one. What I'm finding really interesting about this is that two of these are Pentacles. And so a lot of our lessons from September are going to be around either money, finances, or something that is physical, right? Something that is more tactile, more earthy than, let's say, the other suits. Pentacles are kind of earthy represented, so they are the most stable, solid suit. So just kind of something to keep in mind as we're going through these lessons from September. So 5 of Pentacles reversed. I know exactly what this is in regards to my own situation. 5 of Pentacles reversed is like everything feels kind of shitty, but at least you're together. And that is interestingly contrasted with this 10 of Pentacles. And so what we see here is, and of course the 10 of Pentacles is like super abundant and lovely. And so I'm not going to get into what my situation was exactly, but how we can kind of see this is nicely encapsulated in something that I just kind of went through. So, and sorry, there's like, I live in a city, you guys, so there's going to be like ambulance noises. I don't know if you guys heard that. So it's just like a contrast between like perception, like what is real, what is not real. Like sometimes we might feel broke, but we're not actually broke. Sometimes we might be in a scarcity mindset, perhaps financially, but that doesn't accurately reflect this, like the material, very real situation that we're in. And we're actually in a space of abundance, but we're acting like we're in a space of poverty. And so this contrast is a really, really interesting one, I feel. And I think that this contrast of perception versus reality when it comes to material finances, that likely caused some issues for folks, particularly in relationship over the last month in September. Because you'll notice none of these cards show a solitary solo figure. This shows people in connection, two people together, let's say as in a couple, a group of people together as in a family or community. And so what we see here is a kind of disconnect around these things. And how is money used collectively? How are finances used for the greater good, for everyone kind of together in a couple, like how are finances managed in the family or in the couple unit? And likely there's some disagreements about this. This can also be the avoidance of financial precarity, kind of pretending everything is fine. So it can kind of be the flip side as well. Ignoring, let's say, being in dire straits or being broke and kind of acting as though everything is, wonderful. So I think it can kind of be either way. And I think this split is going to land differently for different people. And so I think if you were someone who, was actually doing fine, but had a broke mindset last month, it's an opportunity to kind of acknowledge that and begin to heal that and kind of step into a different modality of being. And then for those of y'all who perhaps were actually more precarious and did not step into doing something about that, this is going to be the month to kind of realize that, okay, we've perhaps not taken our finances as seriously as we needed to. So now we're going to kind of move forward and do what we need to do in regards to getting ourselves all sorted out in the situation. The 5 and the 10 is also really interesting because we see like this midway point and then kind of a culmination and ending. For me, I know exactly kind of what this is about. If you know me, you can, I'm sure, read between the lines. It's kind of an interesting one. And so we have these kind of financial lessons, and then we also have the sun. And so this is kind of a rebirth. So it's like whatever changes have happened over September in regards to that kind of material security or the perception or lack thereof of it, whether or not it exists. This is an opportunity for a rebirth. We have this lovely little child as the sun riding forward on this horse, and it is upright and really, really lovely. This is one of the luminaries of the major arcana. And so we see these sunflowers all kind of moving towards the sun, right? And so this is an opportunity to really be reborn in some kind of way for October as we are moving through and moving past some of the heartbreak with that we see over here. Right? Or some of the disconnect when it comes to relationships, community, family, specifically when, let's say, finances are involved. And so the question becomes, like, what seeds are we planting with this? What are we going to do differently, if anything? So I'm going to sit with, I'm going to actually just pull one more card on this to see, like, what is the sun really telling us? The breakup card. The sun is telling us that these endings, whatever it is, has come to its conclusion over September is a good thing. And it's good that we kind of let those endings happen. I know what this is about for myself. I had a breakup. Very interesting. And so even though I'm sad about it, clearly the sun is like, it was for the best. And so whatever your situation was, maybe you had a breakup, maybe you didn't, maybe you walked away from something, maybe you said no to an opportunity, maybe you're taking a step back from friendship, maybe you, I don't know, like you're making changes, you're walking away from something or someone, that actually is going to be creating stability for you, which is interesting. And it's going to kind of end this tension, interestingly. So we do have an opportunity for a bit of a fresh start in October with all of that eclipse energy kind of clearing out the cobwebs and the systems and structures and relationships and connections and habits that were starting to kind of weigh us down a bit and that we're not in alignment as much as we might have wished that they were actually in alignment. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind. So our card for October, and it's taken me a little bit to get to it, our card for October is the Ace of Wands reversed. And so the Ace of Wands is a really lovely card. It is a card of initiation, of fresh starts, of new beginnings. Here, of course, the reversal does indicate a little bit of a blockage around this energy. So I'm just going to actually pull a card to see what do we need to know in order to unblock this Ace of Wands. Let's find out. Two cards. So in order to unblock this Ace of Wands, we actually have two reversals. And so I feel like that kind of indicates that the energy is likely going to be a little bit stop and go, a little bit cloggy in October, because we're still going to be having that eclipse season hangover. We're likely still going to be processing a lot of what happened in September. So have like tempered expectations of yourself in October. I do think there is a chance for some mental health stuff to pop up. We do see the moon reverse, which for me is always a little bit of a flashing like orange light at the very least, to kind of keep an eye on our mental wellness so that we don't go off the deep end. So self-care is going to be really important for October, keeping that kind of crazy part of ourselves under wraps and soothed and worked with in such a way where we're able to, let's say, journal it out or talk to a therapist or talk to our friends or talk to our parents or just kind of work it out emotionally so that that stuff does not stay trapped and cause us to act out or just act in ways that are perhaps not super healthy or not in alignment. It's something that a lot of us are going to want to be watching for this month. Page of Cups reverse. This is an interesting one. Make sure that for October, we are not falling prey to kind of emotional folly and emotional immaturity. So it's going to be really important to temper our kind of knee-jerk emotional petty reactions where we're acting a little bit childish this month. So we're going to definitely not want to do that. And we're going to want to instead focus on what lights us up and see if we can at least prepare the stage for that rather than, you know, being in, let's say, an emotional space that is a little bit immature or likely to be a little bit fantastical, often on a negative daydreaming kind of sense. Like, this is not the time for catastrophizing. This is not the time for negative self-talk. All of that is something to be on the lookout for and to catch yourself if you ever do find yourself kind of just slipping into a pessimism, right? Remind yourself that that is not who you are. Pessimism and negative thought is totally an option. It is not something that you have to fall prey to. You can say no. You can choose to focus your energy elsewhere. And that is something I really want everyone to kind of keep in mind for October. So otherwise, let's see, what are some cards we've got for October? We have got the Emperor, we have got the Two of Cups reversed, and the Queen of Cups reversed. So I would say lean into some structure for yourself this month. If you're not someone who usually has a typical wake up time and bedtime, I would say, why not experiment with that in October? Why not give yourself, you know, some structure, a wake up at every day at 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever it is, and go to bed exactly at the same time every night as well. See if you can give yourself some routine, some structure to kind of help yourself guard against likely whatever is going on over here. Sometimes when our emotions are a little topsy-turvy and kind of like bonkers, having this more structured situation can really be a nice antidote to that and can help us stay focused at times when we might really be tempted to let our emotions run away from us and take us down, let's say, a dark path. And so create some structure for yourself, whether it's cooking every Monday and Thursday, whether it's going to gym every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like whatever it is, like do create some structure for yourself and have some of your non-negotiables in your schedule. I think that is going to create a lot of grounding for you this month. And who knows, maybe it will be so grounding that you do want to continue with that structure past October. Just have it be a nice little experiment. See if you can do it. I think it will create some rewiring in your brain, like whether it's going for a walk every day, making coffee at home, adding $5 to your savings every week if that's not something you've ever done, like whatever it happens to be that you need to do. Super important to at least experiment with that this month. It's a 4, very structured, grounded number. So give yourself some structure, give yourself some parenting, parent yourself, be your own dad, and create some order from the chaos that might be your life at the moment. So this is a super important message. 2 of Cups reversed. I've heard of so many people having breakups last month. So I honestly feel like for whatever reason, eclipse season has been breakup season for a lot of us. And I was talking to a friend like literally the other day about this, who also was going through pretty much the exact same thing that I was going through, the exact same timeline I was going through. It was very strange. We both have Virgo placements, so I don't know what that's about. Very interesting. But I think there is a lot of this going on. People are afraid of commitment. People are afraid of connection. People are afraid of love. And fortunately or unfortunately, we can't control other people. We cannot emotionally regulate other people. Other people's journey, for better or worse, is not something that we can take responsibility for. That is a journey that those folks are on, and they're just doing their thing. And sometimes that separation does have to happen when one party is not ready, and that is a lot of kind of what I'm seeing out in the world. Like, it's supposed to be cuffing season right now, but I guess it's breakup season. So it's an energy that is around. And so if you are in a partnership, have some of those tough conversations and just see how it lands. Are there some tough conversations you guys need to have? And come together over, and just to see, are the partnerships that you're in right now healing and beneficial and challenging in a good way? I think a lot of folks run away from partnership when it challenges them to rise. And a lot of people are afraid of rising and will spend their life never rising. So that is something to kind of be aware of as we're thinking about this energy. And so I do foresee some breakups in October for some of you. I also foresee some just like relationship trouble in October. Obviously, I think a bunch of you guys will survive it and some of you guys will not. It's kind of the nature of these things. But aside from these relationships, which may or may not be a smidge wobbly in October, like, create some structure for yourself regardless of what is going on in your relationship. So if you are someone who always defers to your partner, or your entire schedule is around your partner, like, see if you can't create some structure around your own habits, your own hobbies. And it will help you be less concerned about what is going on with them and what's going on with the relationship. Be able to ground yourself in yourself. And of course, this is a major arcana. And so this personal grounding and stability that we create in ourselves, for ourselves, by ourselves, is going to be really important no matter what our relationship status is in October. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. Otherwise, we're going to want to make sure we have our queen hat on and we are not being emotionally immature, right? This is another call out. I would say it's interesting because we also got that reversed Page of Cups. And so with these 2 reversed cups court cards, we might be really hurting. We might be tempted to say mean stuff. We might be tempted to lash out. We might be tempted to be a little bit emotionally immature, but this energy is not going to be really a good fit for us. We should not like lean into that. See if you can't be the upright queen and have some emotional sovereignty, self-control, grounding in yourself, and operate with the awareness that you are worthy of love. And if your current situation, for whatever reason, like doesn't make you feel that way, then it is completely okay to audit somebody out of your life. Tough, but true. So I just want to see what else comes up around these cards. Let's see. What else do we need to know about that? Holy shit. 3 majors. 1 more. Got a minor. Let's talk about the minor first. And these 3 majors. 6 of Cups reversed. And so we've got quite a few reversed cups here. I see this very much as the childhood trauma card. Other people talk about it as the nostalgia card. And so with this one, we really want to make sure that we're not falling into old psychological habits or trauma loops this month for October. We're going to want to make sure that we are operating not with rose-colored glasses, not with glasses that make everything look darker than it is either, but rather from a place of emotional sobriety, and really also being able to care for ourselves and lean into relationships that wherein we feel cared for as well. Childhood trauma can be a thing that pops up a lot in life, and for many folks, it kind of never goes away because they never really heal it. See if you can't find some healing and connection this month. I think our triggers can just be a data point. They can be an insight to what wounds we still have to heal. And it can be really good to know what those wounds actually are, right? So lean into your cute, sweet, warm, loving connections this month, whatever those happen to be, and open up about, your traumas and your triggers. And the people who are meant to kind of be with you for the long term will be able to hear you, support you through that, and perhaps share some of their own that you'll be able to support them through. And just, sort out for yourself too, like, is that important to you to have someone in your life, whether that's a lover, a partner, friends, family? Notice how your relationships help you regulate your emotions, understand yourself better, and grow. Because if we're not growing, I think we're dying and stagnating. And emotional growth can be a really scary thing to do. It can be a really, literally horrifying thing to approach. It can feel like a life or death situation for many people, which is why a lot of people run for the hills when love approaches. But check yourself before you wreck yourself and see if you can't untangle some of those trauma loops and childhood wounds that are causing you to react in ways that are maybe not the healthiest. So it's a little bit of a self-awareness kind of message around those things. All right, so next up, we do have 3 majors, which is a little bit intense. We got 2 upright majors and a reverse major, and they're all kind of in order, and they're also kind of each stage of the majors, right? So we've got 3, the Empress reversed. We've got Death, 13, which is kind of in the middle. We've got 21. Very interesting. So so I feel like this month is going to be kind of a big month. I feel like, there's going to be some big energy that we're going to be experiencing if we give ourselves permission to for October. And we'll try to show you guys these all kind of here we go. So I'm going to talk about death first. For some reason, I just feel called to do that. So death, yeah. A lot of us had some big endings in September with the eclipse season, whether that was literal death, as we all know, the assassination, and of course, many other things going on in the world, but especially that. If you're in North America, I'm sure that probably rocked you like it rocked me. But regardless of that, a lot of people had breakups last month. For eclipse season, a lot of things ended. Death shows up, I think, sometimes in a very literal way and also in a very figurative way in terms of endings and transformations. And the thing is with the death card, when it comes up, it's a reminder that yes, some things might have ended and we are now down to the bare bones of who we are and the bare bones of a situation. And the bare bones could be, this wasn't working, or this doesn't feel aligned, or something is just over. But then the question becomes, okay, what comes after death? What is the transformation that we are all going to be ushering ourselves through in this really beautiful month of October, which is a time for many of us to connect with our ancestors and the holy dead? And so what ways can you connect with your ancestors this month to help you move through these endings and transitions that you've experienced in September and also likely are going to be continuing to process through the month of October? So keep your loved ones close, keep your ancestors close. I would say this card is a little bit of a nudge to do some of that ancestor-based practice in October, if that is a part of what you do in your spirituality. It's something I would really recommend everyone kind of do at least a little bit. Ask your ancestors and your deceased loved ones for assistance, for guidance, for protection, as they do walk with each and every one of us. Some of us might have a more riled up spirit team than others. Some people might have a really low key spirit team, but either way, they are there to kind of help you and support you through whatever you're going to be going through this month. And so for October, I truly do invite you to just ask your ancestors to help you through these deaths and transitions and trials and tribulations that we're kind of going through in this season, right? Because autumn, which we are now in, it is a season of death. The plants are dying, everything's dying. And so we do get to be inspired to then think about, okay, what parts of us have died or have passed through, and what new growth are we going to be preparing for in the new year? We can begin to think about that stuff now. And just honoring the endings, honoring the transitions from one thing to another, I think is going to be an important thing for many of us to just really lean into during this season. Like, I know it is spooky season, and that's like very cute and nice and stuff, like, which I think is great. But there also is that other element of it, and thinking about death, literally, figuratively, endings in life, literally and figuratively, etc. It's a really, really powerful card. I know a lot of people are afraid of it, but it really is about the potential for renewal and really leaning into and thinking about what comes next and asking our spirit team to help us through that process. So I think that's a really lovely kind of card to guide us through October. You've also got, very interesting, the Empress reversed. So the Empress is actually one of my favorite cards. I feel like I'm in my Empress era right now. And the Empress reversed, I think, is a reminder not to abandon our sovereignty. With the end of eclipse season, many of us probably got our crown knocked square off our head just through life handing us, some business. We perhaps had some big endings during eclipse season, and we might be licking our wounds a little bit and just feeling kind of bummed out. And so we might not be feeling like our Empress self. But I would say October is a time to acknowledge that sadness, acknowledge those wounds, acknowledge, like, where did my crown go? I need to go find it and put it back on my head and luxuriate a bit with these nice cozy pillows, and perhaps get like a nice cozy nightgown or something. But we still are the Empress, even if we're down. We still are the Empress, even if we're experiencing some loss and we are experiencing some death. Whatever the death was, likely is part of why this Empress card is reversed. If there was no death, we would probably be up here. But, life does its thing. Eclipse season does its thing. We got the death card. All right. And now the project becomes, okay, how can we be mourning all of that, and then reminding ourselves who we are, reminding ourselves of the abundance of the universe, reminding ourselves that we are worthy of love, reminding ourselves that we do have this, for any of the women watching, this lovely kind of feminine energy and feminine power. And for the men, it's also a reminder to get in touch with some of your feminine energy if that's maybe not something that you've done, like, emotions, sensation, like eating good food, like being in the body, like feeling our emotions, not avoiding our emotions. Really being in the body is something that we're going to want to make space and time for this month, regardless of who you are and what you're going through. Transition can really only be worked through once we feel it. We've got to feel it to heal it. And so that is a part of turning this Empress from a reversed to being upright. Oh, hi, Stig. Yes, I am live again. Thank you. It's good to see you too. Glad you're here. And hello to everyone else who is here live. So let's embrace our Empress energy for October the best we can. And then we've also got the world upright for this month. I really love this. And so the world is one of the only like movement dancing cards in the major arcana. And it's a reminder that despite whatever death we experienced in, eclipse season, and as we're beginning into October, whatever deaths we're experiencing, it is all going to be okay at the end of the day. The universe has a plan. If you believe in God, God has a plan. We've got the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac holding us in place. The universe is conspiring in our benefit. And so whatever it is that we have lost, even if it turns us into the reversed Empress for a little while before we can go back upright, everything is going to be okay. Yes, this is an ending, 21. It's the last of the major arcana. So we do also have an ending here, but then we also have this beautiful wreath of victory. And so even if things feel like death right now, even if things feel like a failure right now, ultimately, we will find that victory, we will find that success, and we will find that situation, that circumstance, that person, those people, the community, etc., where we do feel 100% accepted for who we are and our full raw being. And I'm saying that because this figure is nude here, right? And so that can represent the authentic self. And so you might have felt like, whatever these deaths, you were too much. You were blah, blah, blah. If only you did this, if only you did that. For the right situation, you can just let it all hang out and be you, and you will experience victory. And so I think what we're seeing with eclipse season is it really swept away everything that was not in alignment. And that can feel like a death. It can also feel sad. We got our crown fallen off and it's somewhere. But there is also a victory in that because we are moving forward through that major arcana timeline into actually what is more aligned. And even if it feels like failure right now, at the end of October, I think we're really going to be able to lean into that feeling of victory, that we have emerged victorious, even if we're a little bit battered and bruised from whatever this was for everybody. And so really keep this card with you guys this month, I would say. Like, remember, the world. Remember that everything is really working out for the best all the time. And the universe has its very interesting mechanisms, even if we're not 100% privy to what a lot of those might be. Oh, hi, Derek. Nice to see you. You're working towards a better future. I love that. And I think that is very much what a lot of these cards are kind of about, and it's not easy to do that. And I think moving towards a better future, like, it does ask a lot of us emotionally, especially. It can be even harder emotionally than, let's say, in terms of finances for many people, right? And that commitment to forward momentum, I think, is a really important thing. Yes. So I do have some cards here for the lessons of October. And if anyone is enjoying this and has not given me a little thumbs up yet, please do so. I'm still learning the YouTube. I feel like I'm still new to YouTube, you guys. I feel like I still don't fully get it, but I'm doing my best. And thank you for sharing some of your day with me. I appreciate you guys. All right, so we got some lessons for October. So let's see. 10 of Swords reversed is a lesson for October. So let the dead stay dead. It's time to heal the wounds and accept the endings of certain things. We don't need to go in there and excavate every wound that we see in this card. What's done is done. What's ended is ended. And we just need to accept that. And I think that resonates really nicely with that death card that I just pulled a little bit earlier. Next up, 3 of Pentacles reversed. Don't refuse help. Don't refuse people mentoring you or taking you under their wing. Don't refuse to grow. Use this as an opportunity to become more stable in your knowledge and your behavior. It's always growth. Life is growth. Life is learning at its best. And so operate from that headspace. What can I learn from this situation? Even if you're having the worst day ever, ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How is this situation a teacher to me right now? Ask yourself that whenever you're having a rough day this month. And to finish us off for the tarot, and I think I might draw an oracle card or two, King of Cups upright and the 8 of Wands reversed. Interesting. So let's talk about 8 of Wands. One lesson for October is to keep our eye on the prize and stay focused. Don't let yourself scatter. Know exactly what you're going to be spending your time and energy and your fire and your momentum on this month. The more intentional you are, the further you will go this month. Do not be scattered and don't let anyone or anything throw you off your game. Stay connected to your fire and keep moving forward. That's going to be a really important message for everyone for October. Also, King of Cups. We want to be aligning with this King of Cups energy. We want to be like the King of Cups. We want to be emotionally mature. We want to be emotionally stable. We want to have a handle on our emotions. Ideally, we don't want to be emotionally unpredictable. We want to be able to self-regulate. We don't want to be losing our minds and going crazy. So what can you do to create more emotional stability for yourself? And notice how many cups, court cards we have for October. Let me just see if I can find them all. We have a lot. We have almost all of them. I'm going to just turn them all upright so we can kind of see. The only one we don't have is the Knight. And so a ton of court cards from one suit I think is really interesting. And it's a reminder that we're going to be wearing a lot of different hats in terms of our emotions for this month in October. We're going to sometimes feel like a little child, like the Page. And sometimes we're going to feel like the best version of ourselves, like the king. And so give yourself permission to be all of these characters this month, but see if you can't do it always from a healthy space. Try not to give into emotional immaturity or impulsivity or manipulativeness this month. So those are the cards for October, you guys. Pretty interesting. Yeah, an interesting bunch of cards. And I think October will be an interesting month, honestly. Like, it seems like a month of alchemy, of really processing eclipse season and preparing for what's to come. So I hope all of y'all found that interesting. And I'm going to pull from 2 different oracle decks, and that is going to be the end for today. So the first oracle deck I'm going to be pulling from is this one, Spiritual Meaning of Birds. And then the next oracle deck I am going to be pulling from, oh my God, cards are falling, is this one. And then that will be the end. And if you just got here, I'm sorry, we're pretty much done. I'm just pulling oracle cards for October, and you can watch the replay, I guess, if you want to see the full reading. So let's just see. And actually, if anyone does want an email tarot reading for October, please let me know. I'm opening up email readings for October just because it's spooky season. So I'm doing 3 to 5 cards over email for $97 US, and you can do that on PayPal. I will put it in the description of this video so you guys can see. So it's just paypal.me/witchbody, and then you can email me all your drama. And I'm replying to people within 24 hours. So you'll get your email reading within 24 hours if that is something that appeals to you. Oh, thank you, Stig. I love listening to you, and I learned things I didn't know. That's great. Well, I'm glad you're here. All right, so let's see what the oracle cards are for October. One from each of these decks. Interesting. All right, so from this deck, the Spiritual Meaning of Birds, we've got the egret, which are really beautiful. I've actually seen them in person. Really lovely. And it says stateliness, beauty, rarity. So I'd say this is a reminder that you are a rare creature. You might not feel like it because of these endings that you've experienced during eclipse season. You might feel like shit. You might feel like discarded garbage, but you are not. You are like the egret, and you are beautiful and rare. And don't let someone else's inability to see your beauty cause you to get confused about your worth. Like, we do not need that. That is not what it's about. Someone else's inability to show up is likely more about them than it is about you. So keep your self-esteem and your confidence high this month, regardless of what you go through and regardless of what happened during eclipse season, because it's not you, it's them, I would say. All right, so next up, we've got the Untamed Spirit Animal Oracle, and see what we got. What is our card for October? I want to get 2 cards from this deck. Moth. It says Change in Dreams. Yeah, and I'm feeling called to pull another one. Let's just give these a little shuffle. Then Tiger. It says Willpower and Passion. So the Tiger card relates really nicely to the card that we pulled for October in general, right? Which was the reversed Ace of Wands. And so despite the changes that we've experienced with eclipse season, September being kind of crazy with all the eclipses, with the equinox, just like a lot of energy, I think, was rearranging the deck chairs really last month. And so for this month, yeah, there's a lot of change, and maybe our dreams got snatched away from us, and the life that we thought we were going to have is now gone, poof, in like a little bit of smoke, right? And it's just gone. And that requires us to reroute. And luckily the moth is really able to kind of do that, because the moth can fly, the moth like move towards the light, The moth is all about transformation and transfiguration, all of these things. So we can access that part of ourselves to guide us through October. And the tiger with willpower and passion, right? So this energy really is fiery. It is about following our passion. And this also relates in my mind to that 8 of Wands that we pulled just earlier, right? So how can we connect with our willpower and our passion to direct all of our energy towards whatever the particular goal is that we've got for October? How can we do that? And I would say that this combination of cards gives us a little bit of a way out of that death card energy as we heal from change, transition, could be potentially heartbreak, breakups, endings that were symbolized by that death card that we pulled earlier. So October really is giving us this opportunity to transform and alchemize that pain into growth, into lessons, into opportunity, into a renewed sense of purpose, and into a renewed confidence in the self. And so it's really easy to be confident when everything's going amazing. And then the real test of character is, how do we show up when we're hurt? How do we show up when we're sad? How do we show up when like our whole life has been, changed because something is lost, something is gone, something has ended, as often happens with the eclipses. So that is the reading, you guys. That is the reading for October. I really hope everyone has a really good October. I hope everyone is able to work with these cards to help guide you through this month, because I do think the energy is very interesting. Like, it's not like pleasant. It's not terrible either. Like, there is sadness there, but there's also so much room for change and growth if we decide to really embrace that and like ride the waves of learning to grow and move through some of these challenges. All right, y'all. That's it from me. Happy October. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful month. And again, if you do want a tarot reading with me, you can do so at sabrinamscott.com/readings. If you don't know this already, I've been reading cards for 25 years. I'm 35, so I've been reading since I was 10. It's like kind of crazy, but I absolutely love doing tarot readings for you. So if you are going through anything intense and you want a personal reading just for you, I do usually do those by the hour. But if you do want just something a little quick over email, pop me an email, ceo@sabrinamscott.com, or fill in the form on my website, sabrinamscott.com, and I'd be absolutely delighted to read for you, whether that is just a quick little thing over email or whether that is over Zoom or something where we can really get into the weeds and see if we can uncover what has been going on for you and what we can do about it. All right, my friends, happy October. Thanks for being here. Talk to you soon. Bye.